What's going on, everybody? So, listen up. I know I make a lot of funny videos and we go over a lot of different things, but today we're just going to have a real conversation about why this technology is important and why I believe that you should be aware of it. It's going to be a beginner to intermediate type of talk, and I'm going to give you some examples as to why this new technology is transforming the way we interact with one another on the internet and IRL in real life. So most people forget that when the internet was first started, we created a place where information can get to people wherever you are in the world. And that was the beginning, right? Information was centralized. The way people had access to knowledge was either through books or through individuals. And so the internet came out and it said, "Hey, we can put information on the internet, allowing anyone with a computer or internet access to gain access to this information." All right? And really to just help others expand their mind and learn and connect and communicate. And then so once we continue to build on that, right, we went from Web 1, which was the very beginning, which was basically you would go to AOL.com or Yahoo back in the day, or, any of these different websites. And then you could just like check out the information that they had available. And then now, so we upgraded the internet to where we are today, which is Web 2.0. And Web 2.0 is the ability for users to interact with the internet, right? So not only can you read information or watch information on the internet, you can also now put information out, right? So social media, posting, making videos, creating content. And the cool thing about this is that if we would have told you, when AOL.com, aging myself, and it maybe some of you may not realize, when dial up started and when the internet first came out, and if someone's told you that there would be TikTok, influencers and marketers making money on the internet, they would tell you you were insane. That's crazy. There's no way that's possible. Honestly, you couldn't foresee a future where people could make money online. And when I say people, I mean just your regular individual, not a corporation, not a business, not anyone with a lot of money, not the government. I'm talking about regular, everyday people, okay? An opportunity to make a living. So when when we think about blockchain and Bitcoin today, I just want to put you guys into this thought, to this thought process, this thought exercise with me. So this new technology is called Web3, right? A lot of the developers, engineers, we see this as Web3. What does that really mean? Web3 is the next iteration or upgrade to the internet, allowing for digital assets, digital ownership, okay, authenticity, and transacting online. I'm not going to go into centralized or decentralized. I'm just going to try to keep this really conversational and not be too technical with anything. And so the next iteration of the internet is valuable because it allows people on this planet, wherever you are in the world, an opportunity to connect with others, to get a new type of job, to earn a living, to participate in the market. And when I say the market, I don't mean just the stock market. I mean the ability to capitalize on opportunities where normally it may be difficult because of your location or who you know or your financial class or status or any of those things, right? Even though there's challenges and obstacles, and there will always be difficulties with new technology, This new technology is important because it allows people that may have either were forgotten, were left behind, or just not allowed to participate, the ability to participate into the market. It also allows those that were already in the market, right, and already doing quite successful, a new opportunity for them to play another game, right? To have a new asset class, to have a new innovative future. Because as humans, if we're not working towards a massive goal, that's when we can get lost. And to keep and help people continue to progress in life, right? We need to continue to have massive goals. And that's why I really like, at least in the US, right? They want the US to become the crypto capital of the world, a massive goal. Okay? They want AI, and going on to, and with Elon Musk going to Mars and all these other new projects with SpaceX, right? Massive goals. Allowing us to embrace the process and to just work towards these massive goals collectively. Because with a massive goal, each individual cannot do this on their own, right? It's a team effort. It's a team sport. And decentralization is coded specifically to be a team sport. And that's why, in my opinion, I think it's the greatest opportunity right now. Because it allows you, and when I say you, I mean anyone, right? Business, wherever you are, whoever's watching this video, right? You have an opportunity or you have a second chance. Many of us that, at least in the US, that went to college, we did what we were supposed to do, we got a degree. Some of us went out to the world and did fantastic and did extremely well for themselves. And there were also a large percentage of individuals that didn't because it was just lack of opportunity. And so a lot of those people were left with large student loan debts, feeling disappointed that they have a degree, but yet going back to their high school job, or barely understanding, why they can't get ahead. There's a lot of people that may have felt, they work so hard each and every day, but yet why do they feel like they're still falling behind? We see the prices of everything constantly going up. And what I've learned because of blockchain and because of Bitcoin was that I was playing the market wrong. I was playing this game wrong. I was doing all of it wrong. My strategy was off. The steps and how I was trying to capitalize on opportunities wasn't correct. So I needed to take a step back and really grasp a strong foundation to just how the world works, how money works, and understand why people may want to do certain things. And in that journey of understanding money and understanding the flow of the market, I was able to recreate my perspective on life. And that is more valuable than any money in the world. Because sometimes you feel when you're constantly making mistakes or you're constantly not getting ahead, right? You think something's wrong with you. And you think that, you're just not meant to, you're not meant to play the game. And it really just comes down to you're just missing a piece of information. right? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you at all. It's just that maybe you you just don't have the knowledge that you need to just get yourself to the next level. And so I say this because I want people to understand that there will always be there will always be fear in the market. There will always be risk, and there will always be others trying to trick you. And so in a decentralized ecosystem like Bitcoin and blockchain, I don't want to say it's like anyone's individual responsibility. You definitely want to see how the ethics of all of this goes. But like, I do know one thing. We know that people are constantly getting scammed. We know that there's hackers out there that are using their amazing skills, poorly in my eyes, right? You're a hacker and you have these amazing skill sets, but yet you want to use it to take from others. Um, and that's to me that's just like I don't understand that. Um, why would you want to do that? But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But the reason why I bring that up is because the Coinbase right now just had their massive hack, and they're trying to get these people, and they're manipulating customer service agents, which is so messed up. Like, why are you like these people are trying to make a living, and you're manipulating them, and you're trying to strong arm them to get information for you, so then you can go after XYZ. And the CEO of Coinbase said, you know what, I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to say, I'm going to give you 20 million to those that will call them out, that will tell us who they are and their group. And I think that's a courageous thing, because the way I look at it is this: if the scammers and the hackers and those clowns are going to be loud, right? And if you want to say like it's like a good versus evil type thing, right? And I'm not saying either, I'm not trying to whatever, but just for conversational sake, then that means good needs to be just as loud as well. And so this new technology is very, very scary for a lot of people, and I don't blame you, as it should be, right? You need to understand what is going on here. And what I at least can share with you from my own journey of building on the blockchain, developing different smart decentralized applications. They're called dApps, right? Helping the Helium network grow, helping Helium Mobile, mining, all of these different things, is that this foundational layer that we've all built right now, and I say foundational as in the last 15 years, right? Because this is just really the super foundational level. We don't know what that future opportunity will be. Just like when the internet first came out, no one knew it would lead to a lifestyle where individuals can make content and earn a living online through social media. We didn't know that was happening. We didn't even know that was a career option, right? We didn't even know that job would exist or even be created from that foundational level. And now we're at a new foundational level of the internet that we have no idea what that future opportunity will be. But I do know it will be massive. I do know it will change things. And I do know that it can be helpful for those that look at it as a good tool of opportunity. And yes, it opens up the gateway for also people to do nefarious things as well. But that's just always been that way online and in the marketplace. So education is extremely important, right? Understanding, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole with a lot of things, but just understanding that, I always just say these two simple questions. Do you believe the internet is going to be more digital? Do you think the future will be more digital or less? Right? Do you think that more people will be online or offline in the future? And are you aware if we saved, our current fiat today, will it be worth more or less in the future? All right, the same $100 that I have today bought me more things, just last year, 2 years ago. And if I save that $100 and I tried to save it for next year, right, it probably will buy me less things. And that's just the way the system works. And it works like that on purpose because the system and the marketplace wants you to participate. So when I was telling you I was using my strategy wrong, it was that when I would get, any type of money or whatever, I wasn't putting it to work, right? I wasn't putting it to work into the marketplace. And when you put when you have your fiat and you put it to work, right? Think of like your dollar bills or whatever currency that you're in, right? They're like your employees, right? You don't want your employee just sitting there on lunch break or on the couch all day. You would like them to be working for you. And assets are the way that they can, you can put it to work. And at least at the same time, you're also supporting the economy that you live in. And that's at least the way I look at it, right? And then so you may say, well, I don't have enough to put it to work. I have bills to pay. I have this to do. And I have kids or I don't, or car and this and all these other things. And I get it. And you're right. And so when I was going through my journey, I wrote this book. I never, it's out and available. I never really advertised it, but this is basically what I did, right? I told myself, I'm going to find $50. It's called The Power of 50, right? And each week I will find $50. Not take it from like my paycheck or something. We'll find a new $50 somewhere, okay? Doing some job or helping or whatever, or maybe not buying a certain item, who knows? But I'll find $50 and then I would just put it to work. And I would just do that each week. And I would just slowly do that each week. And I just would promise myself, I can find $50 this week, right? I can find $50 this week. And then over time, you'll build a habit that will help you to understand why you want to put your you want to put your fiat and your money to work. And remember, and this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you my perspective change. And when you find places to put your money to work, you start to figure out, well, there's real estate. All right, cool. I can buy real estate. Real estate is awesome. However, real estate still has a boundary of entry, right? It still has a entity that you need to go through to participate in, right? I mean, unless you have some cash money, you still need to go through somebody to get the real estate and to be in the real estate, okay? And real estate is still a great asset, and real estate's not going anywhere. So I like real estate. But I'm talking to the people that can't just easily get into real estate, right? Or maybe even have the stock market. And the stock market is fantastic, right? All the companies in the S&P, right? And on the NASDAQ, right? They got the 7 tech companies and all these things that help run the economy, and they're great companies. But maybe you're an individual and you say, well, I don't have enough to just get one share of X company or whatever company, right? I don't have enough, right? So there's another boundary of entry, right? There's a minimum that you need to have to participate. And so then Bitcoin is released and Bitcoin is created. And Bitcoin says, I don't care how much money you have. Bitcoin says, I don't care what you look like. Bitcoin says, I don't care where you live. Bitcoin says, I don't care about you. What I do care about is offering you an opportunity to participate. And so Bitcoin allows, which is called fractional investment, right? And what that means is that you can have $1, you can have $10, you can have 100,000, you can have 1,000,000, and everyone can still participate in the blockchain and in Bitcoin and in this new digital asset class. And most people just say, "Oh yeah, well that's fine, that's cool," and they let that simple thing go over their head. And I'm saying this slowly because I really want to I really want people to understand how valuable and important that is, especially from the people that may have been left out. That now you have the ability to participate in an asset class to multiply your wealth, to give you a fighting chance. And I'm not saying this is something where you get in so you can just all of a sudden cash out, put your Hawaiian shirt on, and go retire and never work again. That's not what this is about, at least in my perspective. This is how I look at this new technology in Web3. When I was growing up, it was, oh, you go to school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a good paying high job. When I was growing up, you needed to have a certain type of career to make a certain type of money. And if you didn't have that type of career to make a certain type of money, there was no way that you can really progress unless you got into investing, right? And a lot of people that maybe didn't have the funds couldn't get into those games, okay? So the way I look at this is now you can work anywhere, right? Your career is not dependent on your ability to level up, which I think is awesome, right? Because you can take a job, and I'm not saying any job is good or bad or whatever or anything like that, right? But we all know there's different financial classes and careers and jobs, right? So you can work in fast food restaurants, you can work in retail, you can work in a corporate office, you can work in a law firm, you can work into hospital doctor. You can be on any level and still participate into a digital asset class that's progressing people into the future. So you don't feel super stressed that you're constantly working and you're constantly being left behind, right? And that's what Bitcoin means to me. That's what I see and what I think about when I participate into the blockchain. And so I leave you with this last statement. There's going to be a future that will have opportunity and people will constantly take advantage of it. And it's coming down to a point where if you don't get in the game, you're going to get left behind. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. All I'm saying is that I learned it is more risky to be on the sidelines and not participate than it is to sit there and worry that this is going to zero and I'm going to lose my money. Because, like I said before, if we take $100 today and I save this $100 under my mattress, and then next year, 2 years from now, I get that $100. Will I be able to buy the same amount of goods and products with that $100 2 years from now? No. So we're already being risky by not participating. But if I have $100 and I happen to have an opportunity to participate into a new asset class that has the potential to multiply, not because it's some Ponzi scheme, but because we are an innovative society and we like to innovate. And a lot of really smart people came together and created Web3. My name is Peter Simon Petroni. I'm the CEO and co-founder of W3MCT, and we help people find confidence in using the blockchain and understanding how to safely and securely use digital asset wallets. I also help co-found Learn Web3, where if you want to learn the skill sets of how to develop on the blockchain using Ethereum, EVM, compatible stacks, this is absolutely 100% for free. You can go to learnweb3.io and you get these cool badges that teach you how to code and develop on the blockchain, right? And there's so much more that's going to happen in this entire ecosystem. And I'm just really, really happy to be a part of it. And I'm glad that this came out because it gave me a new opportunity and a new perspective. And hopefully this video finds the right people that will vibe with what I'm saying. Thank you and have a great day.